Hey do-it-yourselfers, today we're back at the Audi project, and what we're going to do is to remove the cylinder heads off the 2.8 liter to be used on the 2.7 liter bi-turbo engine. As some of you have mentioned, the cylinder heads on the 2.8 liter come with more aggressive camshafts but also bigger ports for the intake and the exhaust side. And put that together, you can suck in more air and pump out more exhaust, therefore create more power. So we're going to remove them off this 2.8 liter today. Actually, first thing I'm going to need to do is to get this non-running Audi right here where this Pontiac is. There's more room here and I have easier access to all my tools that I'm going to need. Alright, so here we go. Now, since this is a parts car, we are not going to be concerned by taking things off carefully or even worrying about cutting any wires or breaking any plastic parts or anything like that. In so many words, we're going to the front end of this car today. Cut all the plastic pipes, the vacuum lines, and all the wires in the back, pull things out from the sides, and then get on to removing the cylinder heads. Now, I'm not going to do a bolt-by-bolt removal of all the parts that are going to take to get to the cylinder heads, because a lot of this is pretty much exactly the same as the 2.7 liter. And if you want to see that video, I'll put a link to it in the description box. But I'll try to get you shots of the areas or the parts that are different. All right, well, that didn't take long. This is completely loose now. We got plenty of space here. So next we're going to remove these two transmission lines. We got a coolant hose right there, as you remember. Another coolant hose up here. We got our hood release, two AC lines, and lucky for me, my AC is completely empty. And then this should simply come out. All right, now there are two power steering lines on this driver's side that we're going to cut. Now we should be able to remove this. There is always one more connector. There we go. All right, so here's a close look at these engines, up close and personal. Yep, now we have all sorts of room to work on these. Funny thing is, I'm not gonna bother much with the bottom end. I'm gonna remove the intake, put the engine at top dead center, cut the timing belt, then remove the fuel lines, PCV, and anything else that might be keeping this in. Then simply go on to removing the valve covers and removing the cylinder heads. All right, first our ignition coil pack. Now we'll remove our fuel lines and get these PCV lines out of here. We're gonna cut this wiring harness which goes to all the injectors and all the different sensors, and then we should be able to remove this intake manifold. Alright, it's loose, but does it want to come out? That's the question. Alright, more vacuum lines. We're gonna have to cut. There's also a power steering line here. Now, so close. Yep, there are two coolant hoses underneath this intake manifold. I don't know who designed it this way or even who put it on, but they're nearly impossible. All right, not gonna bother with that shit. Told you we were gonna wreck this car. Here are the two coolant hoses that go underneath the intake manifold. This one and this one. They go in the back, right here. But anyhow, as you can see, we've made decent progress on these. And another situation where tiny Donald Trump hands might come in handy. I kid you, Donald Trump supporters. Every country has their dumb half and you guys are ours. No hard feelings. All right, next we're gonna have to disconnect this piping for our air injection system that goes to the back of our combi valves. There's two bolts holding this into the combi valves on this side and pretty much the same on that side. There's also this coolant pipe that needs to be disconnected that goes to the back of the cylinder heads. All right, so I just undid the 2 bolts on each side. There's another bolt holding this piping in on this side. One more bolt right here. And one more up front. Now, we should be able to remove this. So basically all that's holding these cylinder heads in right now is the cylinder head bolts and the timing belt, and maybe the timing belt cover and small bolts here and there. Like that. So here's a look at the passenger side cylinder head. As you can see, there are 8 cylinder head bolts. And in order to remove them, you need a special tool, which you see right here. I'll put a link to it in the description box if you're interested. And now that they are loosened, I'm just going to use the impact gun. Actually, it looks like this bottom portion of the timing belt is binding up the camshaft gear. Let's get that out of the way. I know what's wrong. I forgot to take out the cylinder head bolt. All right, so let's look at our cylinder head outside the car. As you can see, we removed it with the exhaust manifold. Now everything looks okay. There does not seem to be any bent valves on this side. I haven't checked it for warpage. Now these valves you see open, they're supposed to, because the cam lobes are pressing down on the lifters and they are supposed to be open, but as you can see, they are not bent or damaged. Alrighty, now we do the same thing for the driver's side. There's the valve cover. There's 1 10mm bolts up front and here. All right, looks like this coolant pipe is actually attached to the cylinder head, so we're actually gonna have to remove this back timing belt cover. And in order to get to that, we're first gonna have to remove this camshaft pulley. There we go. Got it. All right, so here's a look at our cylinder head for the driver's side. Once again, I don't see any of the valves being damaged. I see some signs of blockage in the coolant passages, but I don't see any obvious signs of overheating or coolant in the combustion chamber. And what I'm thinking could have happened is the timing belt could have jumped, but there's no way to check on that now. And here's a look at the engine on the pistons for those that might want to see this. But it doesn't really matter. These are going to the machine shop anyway, and I'm going to get a valve job, and also they're going to get pressure tested obviously before that. Then they get to go in this beauty. Actually, not much of a beauty now, but it will be. So yeah, next pretty much I'm going to remove whatever I think is valuable on this car and try to sell it on Craigslist and make the money that I paid for this car and hopefully make some extra as well. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below and let me know. And until next time, you can check out these other related videos, of which I put links to on this side of the screen. There will also be links down below in the description box as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.